Basil Carlo, commonly known as Clayface, made his first appearance in Detective Comics issue number 40. He was created by Bill Finger and Bob Kane, the same duo responsible for creating Batman. While Clayface was one of Batman's first villains, he's never been as mainstream as, say, the Joker or Two-Face. He's always been the odd one out. In fact, he didn't really gain popularity until the 90s when the Batman animated series aired on TV. But here's the thing, I believe Clayface might actually be the most tragic villain in Batman's entire rogues gallery. And you may be asking, well, how? Because beneath being a monstrous blob of clay reveals a story about loss. Loss of identity, loss of control, and the desperate fight to hold on to who you once were. So for today's video, we will examine the character of Clayface and what makes him a tragic yet compelling villain. So if you enjoy content like this, then feel free to subscribe to the channel and drop a like on the video. Also, comment down below who's your favorite Batman villain or DC villain in general. And without further ado, let us dive right in. When talking about Basil Carlo's descent into madness, I can't help but think of the song Creep by Radiohead. You're probably thinking, well, how can you compare a Radiohead song to Clayface? Well, because if you listen to the lyrics, they have a perfect contrast with Clayface's identity. Read these lyrics, for example, with the chorus saying, "But I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? But I don't belong here." And then following up with verse 2 where it reads, "I don't care if it hurts, I want to have control. I want a perfect body, I want a perfect soul." And to me, those lyrics literally sum up the character. A man so broken inside, so hell-bent on being viewed as a perfectionist, that the thought of being forgotten completely consumes him. I mean, this freak accident has not only scarred him physically, but has scarred him mentally. He's so desperate for validation, but in reality, he sees himself as a creep, as a weirdo. But in retrospect, Clayface's story starts and ends with obsession. Before he was a monster, Basil Carlo was a B-list Hollywood actor, the kind of guy who lived for the camera, who needed the applause just to feel alive. He was never the biggest star, but in his mind, he should have been. Acting wasn't just a job for him, but rather his entire identity. Every role, every line, every fake smile on screen, that was only the place he ever felt real. But when Hollywood moved on, so did the spotlight. His name faded from the posters and the world forgot him. And for someone like Carlo, that wasn't just rejection, but it felt personal. Clayface's story isn't just about transformation, it's about addiction. But rather than Clayface's unbridled sense of obsession, also comes his addiction. Once Basil Carlo gained the ability to reshape his body, he became addicted to it. Every stretch of his form, every new disguise, was a temporary fix for something much deeper. He wasn't chasing power like other villains, he was chasing control. In Batman the Animated Series, you see this addiction slowly eat away at him. At first, he tries to use his powers to reclaim his career and to look normal again. But the more he changes, the less of himself he recognizes. There's this heartbreaking irony in it. The more he tries to perfect his image, the more monstrous he becomes. And that, in my opinion, is the tragedy of Clayface. His addiction isn't to drugs or fame, it's to identity itself. He can be anyone, yet he no longer knows who he is. He's like an actor who stayed in character for too long until the mask fused to his face, metaphorically speaking. That's why his story hits harder than most villains, because beneath the horror and the mutation, there's something real there. There's something human. That fear of losing who you are and not being able to get it back. By the time you learn more background on this character and you get to versions like Arkham City or even Creature Commandos, Clayface isn't even chasing fame anymore. He's embracing the monster that he's become. But yet the tragedy shifts from addiction to repulsion. He can't even look at himself. He's disgusted with the monster he's become, that he inflicts his pain onto innocent people. I mean, face it, the guy's a straight up psychopath. But somehow I feel empathetic towards him. Because unlike the Joker or Two-Face or even Scarecrow, Clayface doesn't want chaos. He just wants to be human again. But every time he tries, he sinks deeper into what he hates the most, himself. So in conclusion, Clayface isn't just one of Batman's most tragic villains, he's one of his most human. His story has never been about chaos or world domination. It's always been about a man who lost control of himself, consumed by vanity, addiction, and the fear of being forgotten. That's why I think Clayface would work perfectly as a horror movie, because deep down his entire origin story is a horror movie itself. It's not just the melting skin or the body horror, it's the psychological horror beneath it all. It's a story about identity slipping through your fingers, about watching yourself become something you no longer recognize. And I feel a modern Clayface film could lean into that duality, blending psychological horror with tragedy. Picture The Fly meets Black Swan, a slow, unnerving descent into obsession and self-destruction. While having a very noir, gothic type of aesthetic, you could explore his addiction to perfection, his desperation to be seen, and his terror of what he's become. A murderous clay monster, basically. And I'm really excited for the new Clayface film that's coming out next year. Though there is still so much that I want to learn about the character, I feel like, there's plenty of time to do so. So we'll see. But that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys made it to the end, then I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe to the channel and drop a like on the video. Also, comment down below what other characters or movies, TV shows, etc. you want me to cover. And with that being said, be sure to smile because it never hurts to do so. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.